Some 49ers free agency news to get to on today's show. Happy Monday to everybody out there. But before we get started, do me a favor and share this video. Let your friends and family members know that we're crushing it here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. A couple of the live shows last week took off. Appreciate all of the big super chatters. John Aiello, Bryant Cowart, John Wallace, the true OGs. So let everybody else know that what we're doing here is very, very special. You click that share button here on YouTube, select the Twitter icon if you have Twitter, then post it to Twitter, tag me at Chase_Senior. You do that, I'll give you a shout out on social media. And with that, let's talk about two of the San Francisco signings right now. Today's free agency special here on the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. Is sponsored by Kanzuri, a new sponsor here at Chat Sports. 15% off if you use the promo code CHAT at kanzuri.com/chat. We'll tell you more about them coming up here later on today's show. As for the signings that the Niners have made official today on this Monday, a defensive back and a tight end. Let's start with that tight end. Ross Dwelley returning to San Francisco on a one-year contract, and this tight end room and depth chart going to look the same, at least as of now, as it did last year. Now, Tyler Kroft was in the equation in 2022. Right now, it looks as though Ross Dwelley and Charlie Woerner are going to be the backups, with George Kittle, who really came alive the back half of the year, continuing to be one of the best all-around tight ends that we've ever seen and one of the more dominant tight ends in the National Football League still. It was great to see him return to form and show everybody why he's paid as such and why a lot of people deem him as being an all-around dominant tight end, because there were some question marks heading into 2022, injury concerns, lack of production about how good George Kittle still was. But when Brock Purdy was put in the lineup after Jimmy Garoppolo's injury, he flourished. He played fantastic football. And then Ross Dwelley, Charlie Woerner, more so backup, blocking heavy tight ends. I still think San Francisco really does have to address this position at some point in the 2023 NFL draft. Their pre-draft visits, as well as some of the players that they met with at the NFL Scouting Combine, at least show that they're interested in adding to that position via the draft later in April. As for Ross Dwelley coming back to the Bay, career stats, he's played 71 games. That includes 17 starts. He's been targeted 58 times, 43 catches, 506 yards to go along with 5 touchdowns. If he was involved more in the offense, obviously his production would be a little bit better, but you're behind George Kittle and his specialty, 12 personnel, a lot of 2 tight end sets, him being one of the blockers inside these formations for Kyle Shanahan, and he's going to continue his career with the Niners. Going into year 6 with San Francisco, he spent all of the previous 5 years with this football team, undrafted free agent out of San Diego. And going back to the point that I just made, at some point you have to plan ahead. At some point you have to plan for George Kittle either moving on because he's going to cost too much for this football team and they're paying a lot of guys premium salaries, or you have to envision that at some point George Kittle's career is going to start to go in a downward trajectory. Now, right now, he's in the midst of his prime. We saw it in 2022 that he's playing spectacular football. But now is a good time with 3 third-round picks, 99, 101, 102, as well as a bevy of other later-round picks to maybe get that tight end later on in the draft to start planning ahead. I mean, shoot, George Kittle was selected in the 5th round out of Iowa. I thought he had a great NFL scouting combine at the time, and he still slid that far. So you can get quality, really premium tight ends that late in the draft. I think that's what the Niners are going to do for an early draft prediction from yours truly. Now make sure you go down and hit that subscribe button. We already asked you to share the video. If you did that, we appreciate it. If you haven't, please do so, because what we're doing here on the Niners Report, completely unique. But also, make sure you subscribe. We're less than 200 people away from 80,000 subscribers. Bang, bang, Niner gang, hit that sub button. Coming up next, San Francisco signing a cornerback in free agency. They're pretty active in the secondary so far throughout this free agency period. Who is it? We'll tell you more about him coming up next. First, though, let's tell you about Kanzuri. 15% off if you use the promo code CHAT at kanzuri.com/chat. For all my fellas out there who weren't blessed with huge height like George Kittle or Charlie Woerner or Ross Dwelley, well, you might be tired of feeling insecure about that height, right? Well, we have an answer for you. Kanzuri makes shoes that are up to 2.8 inches higher, and they add 2.8 inches to your height, all discreetly. If you think about it, women get heels, makeup, and have push-up bras. Why can't men get a confidence boost as well? We're all the same height lying down anyway, if you know what I mean. Kanzuri shoes, not only height boosting, but also stylish and affordable. They're not grandpa's Velcro shoes either, as you see what we're showing you here, but fashionable shoes that can receive compliments, even without the height increase. The height insoles integrated into the shoes, making it the ultimate height hack. For a limited time only, Kanzuri offering our viewers an exclusive discount of 15% on top of their up to 30% site-wide discount. All you have to do is hit the code and use the code CHAT at kanzuri.com/chat to get your 45% off. Don't wait any longer. Upgrade your shoe game and confidence now at kanzuri.com/chat. When I want to get high, I put on a pair of Kanzuris. The link is available in the comment section and in the description of this video. To that aforementioned defensive back, Mike Garafolo, with this news over the weekend that kind of fell under the radar a little bit. Not going to lie, took a little bit of a breather throughout this weekend, had a couple of naps. I'm not a big nap guy, but last week was absolutely insane. Needed to rest up a little bit. I did. And San Francisco did not rest up. They signed a cornerback in Myles Hartsfield. That coming, as I said, from Mike Garafolo. Wasn't tendered by the Panthers as a restricted free agent. Carolina had discussed a return with him, but he will reunite with new Niners defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. More on him as far as his background: undrafted in 2020, played his college football at Ole Miss, spent all 3 years with the Carolina Panthers, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Now he makes his way from Charlotte on the East Coast to San Francisco on the West Coast. As for what he has done in his career, 41 games played over the last 3 years. That does include 19 games started, 83 solo tackles, 7 pass breakups, 5 tackles for loss, 0 interceptions. He could play around the line of scrimmage, somewhat of a coverage liability, but this is a San Francisco organization that's done a good job of developing defensive backs, and Steve Wilks has a defensive backs background because that is his specialty. And with Hartsfield reuniting with Steve Wilks, oftentimes you'll see a move like this, where you bring in a roster fringe type who knows the defense, who you're familiar with, who, if injuries do happen, you plug him in, and at least he can be somewhat serviceable or be a body out there that doesn't cost you all that much. You look at his Pro Football Focus grades from 52, they ain't great by any means. Overall grade of 52.0. League average is at 70. Coverage 50.9. And when he was targeted, a passer rating of 127.4. Obviously, this is not a guy who you want to start games for you. But if guys do go down, he can fill in and hopefully be serviceable. You're looking at a Niners secondary now, and you scan the depth chart of Charvarius Ward, Deamador Lenore, Isaiah Oliver now as your slot corner. You still have Ambry Thomas on the back end, Talanoa Hufanga, as well as Deshaun Gibson, and now Hartsfield will be a part of that depth equation. So, we've been hitting you with this question a lot throughout the last week and change, but I want you to grade the Niners free agency so far. A, B, C, D, or F. How do you think that John Lynch in the front office is doing? Share your thoughts with us. Share the video on social media. Subscribe to the show. And as always, we appreciate you for making the 49ers Report a part of your day.